What do you get when you cross an 80s action movie like Die Hard with an anime about high school girls like K-On? Well, the answer is 2 words: Lycoris Recoil. If you haven't heard yet, Lycoris Recoil has probably been one of the most popular anime of this year's summer season. It's part espionage thriller and part comedy about girls working at a cafe. We know, that sounds like they shouldn't go together, but that's just the kind of show Lycoris Recoil is. The anime has already gained quite the following, but if you're on the fence and haven't checked it out, this video is going to tell you all about it. And more importantly, if it's worth the watch. There'll be teenage assassins, terrorist plots, and delicious parfaits. So let's get right into what Lycoris Recoil is all about. You see, Lycoris Recoil takes place in an alternate version of Japan, where an espionage organization known as Direct Attack, or DA for short, keeps the peace. They're a preemptive assassination group, stopping criminals before they can commit crimes. And the main way the DA does this is with a team of teenage assassins known as Lycoris. What the DA does is adopt orphans and train them to be professional hitmen, which is a bit messed up if you think about it. Anyway, DA functions as sort of a secret police. Any incidents involving them are reported in the media as simple accidents. Now, one thing you might wonder is, what exactly does the word Lycoris mean? After all, it's not a common word. In our research, we found about a half dozen different pronunciations for it. Licorice, Lycoris, Lycoris, but it's not a made-up word. It's short for Lycoris radiata. That's the scientific name for the red spider lily, a flower that shows up a lot in the show, especially during the opening theme and commercial break eye catchers, as well as a stylized spider lily on the Lycoris uniforms. The red spider lily is a flower typically associated with death. The flowers are poisonous, so they were originally planted around farms and houses to keep pests away. This fits perfectly with what the DA does, but the Lycoris also constantly puts their lives on the line, so that's where the death symbolism comes in. If you like that premise, you're probably wondering where the actual plot starts. Well, it begins with 2 young women, Chisato and Takina. At the start of the series, Takina is a standard Lycoris agent, but during a standoff with an arms dealer, her team loses contact with Mission Control. Her field leader doesn't know what to do, especially when a member of their team is taken hostage. Takina makes a split-second decision and guns down the enemies. This saves her partner, but kills the arms dealers, which means the DA can't interrogate them. Her superiors are upset with her for this incident, so they have transferred her to a small branch of their organization, that being Cafe Lico Rico. On the surface, it's an ordinary cafe, but it's actually DA's community outreach program. Takina has been sent there to train with one of their top agents. That top agent is Chisato. She and Takina are polar opposites. It's a classic odd couple situation. Takina is quiet, reserved, and serious, while Chisato is outgoing, optimistic, and fun-loving. Another thing about Chisato is that she was the best Lycoris at the agency before setting up shop at the cafe. But unlike Takina, she's perfectly fine with working there. If anything, she prefers doing smaller scale jobs like helping out local school kids. Chisato also insists on using non-lethal tactics while fighting, but it puts her in considerably more danger than if she used a normal gun. But luckily, Chisato also has reflexes so incredibly swift that she can literally dodge bullets. Yeah, you heard that right, dodge bullets! Takina believes in more of a straightforward way of fighting, but is willing to learn from Chisato thanks to her reputation. Of course, it takes her a while to get used to Chisato's excited and sociable personality. The relationship between Takina and Chisato is at the core of this show. Their personalities contrast and complement each other well. It's an old dynamic, sure, but it keeps popping up for a reason. Plus, there's more to both of them than just their archetypes. The two of them grow closer as the series goes on. Takina opens up more to Chisato and shows that she can be fun if she wants to, like in their trip to the aquarium in episode 4, or how Takina wants the cafe to actually succeed as a business. Plus, Chisato learns a bit from Takina too, mostly how to be a lot less reckless while in combat. It even seems that there might be a romantic chemistry between the two of them. From the first episode, there's been a lot of subtext between our two leads, and of course, fans latched onto it. While Chisato and Takina are the central focus of the story, there's also a colorful cast of supporting characters. First, there's Mika, the manager of the cafe and Chisato's father figure. He's a fairly serious man who cares about Chisato and wants to make sure she grows up to have a happy life. Then there's Mizuki, another worker at the cafe. Of course, she's more concerned with finding a boyfriend rather than any actual Lycoris work. And finally, there's Kurumi, a preteen hacking genius and the newest member of the team. Like Takina, Kurumi's on the quiet side and prefers to spend time on her computer. Together with Chisato and Takina, they make sort of an odd family together. So whenever there's not a lot of spy action going on, you can be sure that there'll be something fun happening back at the cafe. It's not all fun and games though. The central force of antagonism throughout the series is a man named Majima. He's a terrorist with a vendetta against DA and seems willing to do anything to achieve his goals. Connecting both Majima and Chisato is a mysterious group known as the Allen Institute. The Allen Institute claims to be just helping young people with natural talents, but it's obvious there's more to them than what it seems. One of the major features of the show is beautifully animated action scenes. It clearly takes influence from films like John Wick and Die Hard, especially Die Hard actually. Part of the backstory for the series involves terrorists taking over a radio tower, very similar to the first Die Hard. Chisato even talks about an obvious stand-in for the movie during one of the episodes. The most impressive bits of action come in from Chisato's amazing bullet dodging abilities. It really takes some talent to make something so unbelievable look effortless. There's at least one major action sequence in every episode that'll be sure to leave you on the edge of your seat. But like we said before, it's not all action all the time. Despite being assassins, Chisato and Takina are still normal teenagers. For example, we get a look at their lifestyle while they're out for lunch or shopping for clothes. Sometimes the two of them can go almost an entire episode without doing any spy work. For example, episode 5 is mostly spent with Chisato and Takina talking to an old man on a tour around Tokyo. Of course, behind the awesome action scenes and cute slice-of-life moments, there's actually some pretty dark world building. With Chisato's constantly positive personality, it's easy to forget that she's essentially a child soldier. Flashback scenes show us that she's been a Lycoris since at least the age of 7. The things the DA does are morally questionable. Sure, they're giving orphan girls a new home, but at the same time, they all have no choice but to be assassins. And throughout the show, we see many unnamed Lycoris agents being killed, just to drive home the point of how dangerous the work is. The work done by the DA is good. They're keeping the peace in Japan, but their methods for the peace are extremely dubious. The official poster for the series shows this as well. The top half is bright and happy with Chisato smiling at the viewer, but the bottom half, everything is dark and the girls are surrounded by spider lilies. The idea of the questionable and sometimes violent things people will do for peace is a major theme in the Metal Gear games. So perhaps it's not a big surprise that Metal Gear's creator Hideo Kojima is a fan of the anime. Granted, it may not explore these themes as deeply as the games, you can still feel the thematic similarities. While Chisato and Takina believe they're keeping the peace, the actions of the organization they work for is a bit morally ambiguous. Lycoris Recoil has a bit of something for everyone. Cute girls, intense action, and fun character dynamics. If those all sound like things you like, then Lycoris Recoil just might be the anime for you. With how popular it's gotten in such a short amount of time, it could very well be the anime of the summer. We would even say the year. But there's a certain chainsaw-based show coming up this fall that everyone, including our channel, has been hyping up. So, what do you think of Lycoris Recoil? Do you think it has what it takes to be remembered as an iconic anime?